7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hey, what's up, fam? Welcome back to 49 Faithfully. We're your hosts, Miriah Lee and Teran Lewis. TL, what's up, my guy? Welcome back. How you doing?
I'm doing awesome. What up, fam? What up, Mariah? Everybody in the chat. Good to see you guys.
Good to have you back. I know the chat missed you. Shout out to John B for filling in while you were gone.
Appreciate you, my
Everybody loves
brother.
him, but they're excited to have you back.
Everybody loves JV.
Yep,
He's a cool
he's
dude.
awesome. Happy Wednesday, chat. Hope everybody's doing great. We got some ladies in the building. First, Melissa, what's up? She says counting down because she was here way early. She's been having her seat saved at the club for hours already. She had left her bag there. She had her drink waiting. She already been ready. Counting down the hours till TL and ML time. You've been missed, Teran. I need to hear from the Wolverine fan that blue hype for Ronnie and Jake.
Yeah, I love my guys. When we drafted them, I was so hype. Mariah and I did like a few different mocks, like up to the draft and stuff like that. You and I both had Jake Moody going in third
Mm-hmm.
round. We both kept picking up at the same exact pick too, number 99. We're like,
Mm-hmm.
we need a kicker. I'm sorry. So I love my guy. Anytime somebody from the Wolverines comes to the Niners, I'm always excited.
Yep. And even more so when they're actually doing good, because we've had some that
Exactly.
come that you're not that happy with these
Yeah.
days, but both
Yeah.
of these ones are doing great so far. What's up, Don?
Yep.
Good to see you. We got Tanya in the house. What's up, sis? Appreciate you coming through. Got Mike Ing in the building. What's up, Mike? Alberto. What's up, Alberto? Don, real quick. I told you I had something to tell you. Chrissy, she wanted me to donate everything that she's won to somebody. And she said, if it could be somebody with kids, preferred. So I took her winnings, all her cards, I bagged them up, and they're going to you, Don. So once I ship you your stuff, it'll have, the stuff that she's won included in there.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, shout out to Chrissy. We appreciate you. That's super nice, super awesome of you. So today, those that don't have Twitter or didn't see, these are the giveaways we have lined up. Let's run through them real quick and we'll get one started. We got CMC coming up. That's a new one. We haven't had that one yet. We got a Brandon Ayuk coming up. Hype. We got a Debo touchdown masters. Debo's been playing out of his mind, so shout out to him. We got Iron Man Fred. And the new one, first time. We got your quarterback, Mr. Brock Purdy. We'll close the show with Brock. Let's start off with, let's go CMC. Get your numbers in the chat. We're not fishing today. We're playing slots. So we're taking you to Vegas, playing some slots. So get your numbers in the chat, 1 through 100. Good luck, everybody. So, obviously this game, the Giants game's been over for a few now. So we're not going to dive too much into it. We'll talk on it briefly, give out our stars of the game, and then we'll move on. But before we get into that, I did, there's been some other stuff in the news that I want to talk about. My very first note on the paper today was that we signed running back Jeremy McNichols to the practice squad, and we released tight end Troy Fumagalli. However, before I could even get done with my notes, they released Jeremy McNichols, and they signed safety Trey Norwood. They signed cornerback Kendall Sheffield and tight end Drake Tongues. I don't know. All to the practice squad. So there's that. Nothing too big. I read up, the 49ers, when they send out the news, they do like a little write up on each player, and two of the guys were drafted. I think one in 2019, one in 2021, I think. And the other one was an undrafted guy that was picked up by another team. So they've all played, but they're pretty young. So we'll see what happens with that. Some other things. Let me pull up my things because we have some players to talk about that have been have some little, awards and stuff. Some guys talk about. First thing is CMC's leading the NFL in rushing yards. We never had a running back, I don't think, right? That since I can remember, that's been leading the NFL in rushing yards or rushing, like
It's been a while.
The best of the best,
Yeah.
So, wow, like he has 353 yards through 3 games. Second place is Swift. From now he's on the Eagles. And he has 308 yards. So a little bit behind, what, 40 something around there. Yeah, so, and then with him scoring a touchdown in this game, the Giants game, he has scored a touchdown in 12 straight games with the 49ers. And that ties Jerry Rice for the most consecutive games with a touchdown in franchise history. So this man he hasn't even been with the team a full season. And he's already, if he scores a touchdown in this next game against the Cardinals, he'll pass Jerry Rice, which is the GOAT of the GOAT of the GOAT, right? Like,
yep, for sure.
So to even be up there, like let's say he doesn't get one, which will really suck. But to just be tied on that list with Jerry Rice, like that's a hell of an accomplishment, I think.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah, I mean, dude's just a Swiss Army knife. Like, I feel like Kyle's been looking for his running back for a long time. We've talked about people he's been drafting. He's whiffed on a lot of players, as far as his running backs, even his free agents. And what's the guy's name? Jerick McKinnon. Got Jerick McKinnon. That didn't work out.
Kyle is playing great on the Chiefs. Like, how did he play like shit, with us? He couldn't stay healthy.
Yeah.
Even when he got healthy, he was still like a paper plane. And then he goes to the Chiefs and he's like killing it over there.
Yeah.
Like he's a captain and everything.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the situation is, but yeah, CMC, I'd love to have that guy on my team. I talked about this a while back. I feel like he should have been the player who was drafted to us in 2017 in the first place. Everybody kept telling me, "Oh, you don't draft a running back that high." I'm like, he's not just a running back. He's not just a running back. He's not like a Najee Harris or something like that. He's such a Swiss Army knife. He does so much for an offense. So yeah, I'm glad to have this guy on my team. Kyle, I think the last good running back that he had that actually was a beast that that made a Pro Bowl was Devontae Freeman when he was with the Falcons as offensive coordinator. So it's been a while for him.
And I want to say a hell of a running game.
Oh my God, him and Tevin Coleman, that dynamic duo was. Yeah, it's funny. I had Devontae Freeman on my fantasy football team that year, and he was just killing it for me. Like, and then but yeah, he I think the last time you brought up have we ever had somebody after week 3 that's been ahead, in rushing yards as a leader? I think the last person was Frank Gore. It's been that long since we've had a dynamic running back that scares somebody every time they're on the field. So I love having this man on my team.
Me too. And with him, with a healthy Debo, like we know obviously that him and Debo played together at the end of last year, but we know that Debo wasn't Debo, right? And so far this season, like Debo's really showed up and showed out. Like he didn't just show up in shape and talked about it, but he's actually showed up and is looking back to his normal self. So to have Debo and CMC both on the field that can pretty much do anything that you could think of, plus then obviously we know BA was out this week, but when he's healthy and in there, like this is like an unstoppable offense.
Yep.
for once, right? Like we know that with this team, it's always been the defense has to carry, the defense has to carry, the defense has to carry. The offense barely puts up any points. The defense has to score, you know, take the ball away, get a pick six to save their asses or whatever, you know. It's always was the defense bailing them out. The offense never could keep up their end of the bargain. And finally, we have an offense that looks like dynamic. Like, you know, I don't see one area with a healthy George Kittle, who in this last game was carrying defenders down the field again, looking like normal George Kittle. There's not really a weakness, you know, to this offense. And I think that's really the first time that you can say this. Besides, I'm saying like weapons. Now, the offensive line, you know, take that for what it is. But weapon-wise, I can't think of anywhere, because even JJ as the third guy, or, you know, Ronnie Bell, like we finally have like a solid wide receiver room. We got good, healthy running back depth. You know, like TDP hasn't even been active, because what, you're going to have 4 guys active? No, you know, like, you know, they've been having 3 running backs healthy and active, you know, and we got tight end with young tight end depth that's looked good in the preseason, whatnot, you know. So it's like, I can't think of any weakness on this offense for once.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, and it's been mentioned by people in the chat, us many times, that you look at CMC and Debo when healthy, can argue they're number 1A and 1B in the NFL when it comes to being a weapon. Like I think CMC right now is the best running back in the league. Debo, I'm not putting him in the top 5 as a receiver, but as a weapon, he's probably second behind CMC, and you can argue 1 or 2, it doesn't matter. So, like them, like you said, them two having one of the best receivers on our team as a route runner, and Brandon Ayuk, top 2 to 3 tight end, however you want to put it. Like, we're just this offense just has a nice group of weapons that we can say, like, and I think what it comes down to, it, you kept mentioning it, is the health.
Yeah.
It's the health, like, and I know there's been talks right now about Debo has, he hurt his knee or something like that. Like, he's hurting right now, but he still hasn't been put as like as a question mark for this game on Sunday. But yeah, I'm excited. This is the first time in a while where, like you said, this offense, we've always talked about the defense, but now I feel like the way this offense is working and how we're putting up points is keeping the defense fresh. We don't have to worry about the defense going in there and being like, oh man, I hope they make a stop, or I hope to do this. This is the first time in a while that I'm like, okay, the defense, they gave up a touchdown, but cool, we got an offense that's going to make up for it anyway and catch up. So yeah, now we don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. I still don't. I mean, still, that's not an ideal situation, obviously.
Right.
But it's one of those things where if it does happen and we get behind, we can be like, man, if it's a third quarter and we're down by a touchdown or even 2 scores, I'm not really as worried as I have been in the past.
Right. It's funny you say that. Real quick, I'm coming to you, chat, in a second, but before I lose my thought, it's funny you say that about the defense, not being on the field that much, because I had just listened to the mic'd up from the Giants game, and Fred Warner was mic'd up, and he's there on the sideline, like, to start the game. And he's like, man, can we get in the game? Can we get in the game? Like, they're on the sideline forever. And then like a couple quarters later, he says it again, like, or maybe not a couple quarters later, but later in the in the clip, he's like talking to somebody. He's like, I think we've only played like 10 downs of football, talking about the defense. He's like, can we get on the field? It's like, man, like, to have the defense, actually calling to get on the field, because they're not, because the offense is just there handling business. Yeah, it's crazy. But real quick, chat, I'm coming to you. Tia, much love. It's been a while. I get excited every time I see your name come through the chat. So I hope you're doing well. I know you've been working hard. They've been keeping you from us. So I'm glad that you're able to stop through. We got Bebop-aroni in the house. What's up, Bebop? I saw Jason. What's good, Jason? Let me see. Let me get through here. Melissa's back. Those that haven't got into the giveaway, we're starting with a CMC giveaway. So get your numbers in. We're about to draw the winner for that in a minute. Let me just see here. We got Dion in the house. What's up, Dion? Hope you're doing well, bro. Sim, what's up, Sim? Hope you're well, sir. You know, when I was going through the giveaways looking for Chrissy's giveaways to give to Dawn, I found 2 giveaways belonging to Sim, who claims that he never wins shit. So you must have won, you know, a giveaway and had already left the chat by the time I called the winner and you didn't even know. So yeah, there's 2 giveaways there in bags for that have your name on them. Crazy guy. Talking about it's fixed and all
Red
this shit.
and all this other stuff. Yeah, for anybody just popped in, the first number was by Dawn at 9 after. So look at number 39 and move down from there so you guys don't duplicate what's already been put.
Tia says, yes, had a tooth pulled, so she's off. Oh. Well, sucks that she had a tooth pulled, but at least you're off. So I'm happy that you're off, but not that you had a tooth pulled, obviously.
Yeah.
I hope you're doing okay. All right, let's call the winner for this giveaway. Let me get my stuff out here.
Go ahead and put them numbers in, fam.
Yep. Because that's it. Alberto City's unlucky. We'll see.
Yeah. Slot machine time.
Playing slots today. No fishing. If you want to hurry up and enter your number, we're doing the CMC giveaway right now. Hopefully, let me give her a couple seconds to see if she's going to enter her number. Let me know if she puts it in there because I can't see the chat.
All right. Who are you waiting on?
Denise.
Denise, okay. She's probably going to go with 23.
Maybe she won't pick. All right, we're going. Get into the next one. All right, good luck, everybody. $40.
Let me go back up to the top here.
Hey, Sin.
Okay, 40's. You said 40 was the number? Okay, let me look down here.
Yeah.
So I had Dawn started off with 39. So let me see what
Denise
else we
would get
got
in.
here. We got a winner with Dawn with 39.
Dang, Don. Dang, Don. What was that? That reminded me of something. Dang. I feel like there was some thing going around, like some clip that played like dang something, but I can't think. Congrats, Don. I'll add this to your winnings as well. CMC going home with Don.
I have a bunch of weird stuff that just popped on my computer. I'm going to try to get rid of it. If I happen to go off, I'll come back on.
All right. Feels like I'm out of here. John V, what's good? Oh, yeah, that's it. Damn, Daniel. Yeah. Shout out to Dion. He knows. All right. So the next giveaway. Let's go with our guy, Debo. Touchdown Masters. It's in the bag. I didn't want to unbag it, so a little glary. Get your numbers in 1 through 100. Good luck. Let's wait for Tion to come back before I get into anything.
All right, I got it off.
All right. This is what it was. Damn, Daniel. What I was thinking of. Hey, Ronnie. All right. So we went over CMC being a GOAT. We went over these signs, peoples. Now let's talk a little bit about these other games that happened this week, because the Cowboys, who pretty much every national media football ranking type thing that I seen prior to week 3 had the Cowboys number 1. Had the 49ers number 2. Okay. The Cowboys go in and lose this week to the Arizona Cardinals, who hadn't won a game yet. These hyped up Dallas Cowboys, number 1, they were talking about, oh, they have the best defense. They have all these stars at defense. They have a great offense. They have the quarterback. They have, all this stuff. Go in there and totally looked like shit on defense. They looked like shit on offense. They looked like shit on special teams. They looked like shit in coaching, like shit from head top to bottom, complete pile of shit. To the Arizona Cardinals, who don't even have their starting quarterback, right? They have Josh Dobbs, who's only been on the team for like a couple months, maybe a month and a half. And pretty much they have a running back, right? That's James Conner. Like, that's who's like carrying that team. And it's like defense couldn't stop them. Like, I couldn't believe how bad their defense looked. So all that to say, now all the national media rankings, everything has the 49ers at 1, and the Cowboys dropped way down on the board.
Like 5th or 6th.
Yeah.
Huh?
Like, I've seen some that had it 5th, some have it 7th, some have them 8th. It's like, holy shit. Like, they lost one game. Like, come on, dropping down to 8th is crazy.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
But we know, like, a lot of players, when they talk about it, they're always like, would rather not be, in the light of the media. They don't want to be the top of the rankings, right? Like, they want to be the underdog. They want people to like not think they're going to do
like
great,
sleep on them.
Yeah, be great, right? Like, how are you feeling with now that the 49ers have like risen to number 1 on every single board that I've seen? We just talked about how finally the offense can put up and stay up with the defense. Like, this all-rounded team. Obviously, with the offense getting better, the defense getting better, that only makes special teams better.
Yeah.
Because it's better players that we're filling out the end of the special teams roster with. So we have all that. We're number 1. How do you like that? Would you rather not be? Do you feel like now they have to do so much to keep up with that? Like, if they fall, they're gonna fall harder. Like, how do you feel about that?
Well, first and foremost, like, them having Dallas as a number 1 team, it didn't bother me. I mean, after 2 weeks, I mean, they had a shutout in week 1, beating the Giants 40-0. And then they, I forgot who they played in week 2, but then the Jets without Aaron Rodgers, but they still beat them by 20 points, still an NFL team. So I had no problem with that. And I seen a lot of people on their fields and how they number 1. It is what it is, Dallas, I agree with you, going down to 6th or 7th. I honestly think realistically they're a better team than the Cardinals. But, I think that, you look at it, they had a huge injury. I'm not saying one guy is going to make that big of a difference, but it happens. They had Trayvon Diggs tear his ACL in practice. That kind of put them down a little bit. And then, too, you go and you overlook opponent. We've done it in the past. We did it to Denver last year. We did it to Chicago last year. We did it to Atlanta. Like, there's games you're going to lose that you don't expect to lose. So I think they went in there overconfident. Oh, we beat the Giants by 40. The Giants beat the Cardinals, so we got this. You know what I mean? So they went in there overconfident and they lost, and I love to see it because I can't stand Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
And so us being the number one, I have no problem with that. What it comes down to it, and I know a lot of people, a lot of fans, oh, I hate being number one, and I like the pressure off me. This, and that. I don't care if the pressure's on us. That to me, that's better. Keep this team focused. Keep this every time we're not the favorite, we lose. So
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? Let me be the favorite. Let me be the favorite and have this. And I put that in the locker room every single week. Look, they have us as the best team. Let's play, let's play like it every single week. Let's stay on top. Don't even let them think about who's the number one team in the NFL. I like it. If I'm Kyle, John, and all them, put it in the locker room. Look, this is the first time they have us number one in the NFL. Let's keep it that way. Let's keep this focus and not let it, deter us to getting beat by a team that we're not supposed to lose to, wherever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I have no problem with it. Just like I said, I think we have the personnel. I think, with the Trent Williamses, the Kittles, and stuff like that. And let's keep it as a motivation. Because when you're on top, there's no motivation like staying on top. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I
Yeah.
see it.
What's up, Throwback? I see you. Sin, I said hi to Sin, right?
Yeah,
Hey,
you did.
Sin. Hope you're doing well, sis.
Mhm.
All right. Those that have just joined or that are, have been in and out. Where the hell? If I can find what I did with the Devo. Oh, here it is. I was
Yeah,
trying.
throwback. You're right. Trent owns Parsons, but Parsons been coming off that right side of the line.
Yeah.
He's
And
been coming off that
he's
right
no
side.
joke, man.
He's
Like
not.
he had a down game or whatever, but shit, that
Still
guy
had a sack.
like yeah, I wouldn't be surprised that he wins defensive player of the year this season.
Yeah, he's
Like he
doing
was
his thing.
close with Bosa last season.
Yeah.
Get your numbers in. We're doing a Debo giveaway right now. Touchdown Masters. Another little shout out before we get into the games. And something I wanted to talk about as well with Steve Wilkes. But before we get into that, the PFF, take it for what it is, pass rushing grades. And what is this? Let me find it because I want to talk about Kinlaw a little bit.
Okay.
And I know Throwback asked me last night on the show what did he ask me? If I'm surprised, I don't know. Let me find this stat. Okay. So the top PFF pass rushing grades among defensive tackles in a true pass set. Number 1 is Javon Hargrave. Number 2 is DeForest Buckner. Number 3 is Leonard Williams. Number 4 is Eric Armstead. Number 5 is Jeffrey Simmons. And number 6 is Javon Kinlaw. Shanahan was asked about Kinlaw and if this is the best that he's seen, Kinlaw play since, he's been a 49er. And Shanahan talked about how, well, this is the healthiest, that we've seen Kinlaw. And that, in the offseason, he was healthy and was actually able to work on his craft, work on becoming a better pass rusher, work on, all the little details that you need to be working on, what players do during the offseason. He hasn't been able to do that thus far in the entire time he's been in the NFL. Up until this last offseason is the first time since he's been drafted that he's been healthy. So he actually got to spend time working on his craft. 2, I think the fact that he's not having to start now, that he's coming in and, that kind of pressure, the pressure of him being drafted in the first round to replace a fan favorite in DeForest Buckner, not only, in the faithful's hearts, but the production, of DeForest Buckner. Well, now all that pressure's off of him, right? He's like, okay, I have nothing to lose. This is my last, year under contract here. And I don't have to start. I can just go in there and, be the best me that I can be. And, he's playing for his future. We talked about that, right? but we're actually seeing a Kinlaw that's showing up on the field and making a difference. Like all we need from him is for him to beat his man, right? We know that he's most of the time going to have one-on-one matchups, or he needs to eat the double teams, whatever. That's all we need. We don't need him to be up there getting sacks. He's right under Hargrave with the amount of pressures that he's had through 3 weeks. So he's getting, he's making a difference. Like there was several plays from just this last game where you see where Kinlaw is there and he's collapsing the pocket, and making, like, squeezing the quarterbacks having to, go out of the pocket because Kinlaw's there getting the pressure on him. So yeah, he's not getting the sack, but he's causing the quarterback to have to roll out, to have to throw faster, to have to, he's getting the quarterback off target. So, I mean, I'm not saying like, oh, he's being the first round pick that we drafted or whatever. Like he's not, doing fantastic, but, I want to show, give credit where credit's due. And I think we've seen something from Kinlaw, through 3 games. We'll see how the rest of the season goes, but through 3 games, he's been healthy and he's actually doing something on the field besides being a liability.
Yeah. First and foremost, I want to say I'm happy for him. I'm happy that he's doing his thing, and I think Sam or Izzy said it best. Like he's doing his job as a rotational guy, and But in saying all that, I don't trust a guy playing well in a contract year. I don't. Like like you now, if he showed me something last year and then is entering into this year, then I'd be like, okay, cool. However, I'm not down on him to say that if he loves San Francisco and he's happy that in the role he's playing and that happened to be the starter with the pressure, if he wants to come back on like a 2 or 3 year extension on a discount, I wouldn't mind having him back. Wouldn't mind. But if he stays top 5 in this category, he's gonna go want to look to get paid. And if he's looking for anything in double digits, I'm sorry, but you got to go. Because if we're not going to pay, like I said, long as he's happy in his role, if he wants to come back and say, hey, I'll come back on a 3-year, $18 million deal, whatever the case may be. I'm not saying that's what he's going to take. I'm just throwing a number out there. But if he wants to come back on a team discount because his team has stuck with him through thick and thin with his injuries and not just cutting him and all this other stuff, if he wants to come back, fine, on a discount. But like I said, he's playing well. I'm happy to see it. I'm happy for him. He's a 49er. I want the best he can be. But once again, it's funny how, and I'm not saying that he was faking the injuries. I'm not saying that. It's just funny to me that you were injured for 4 years, now in a contract year. So far, now you're healthy. That's always like a head scratcher to me, of how all of a sudden you're healthy because now it's time for a new contract. So that's how I see it. But like I said, keep playing the way you do. Honestly, I want him to play so well that at the end of the year, when free agency comes, that he makes it a difficult decision to let him walk or not. If
Yeah.
it's to the point where they're like, man, he played so well, I want to give him exactly Izzy. If he's like, man, I want to, as hard, I don't know what to give him. That's good. That means he made it hard on the front office, that he played so well that now they're thinking about should they sign him or not. And that's what you want to see. Yeah, I agree. Something like a Givens deal, 6-7 years, 6-7 million a year, whatever the case may be. But if you're going to sit there and command 11, 12, no, I'm sorry, bruh. You guys to get up
I
out of
don't think
here.
anybody's going to pay him that, honestly.
No, and probably not, but who knows? There's always some desperation. Especially if he plays all 17 games. If he plays all
Yeah.
17 games, they're gonna look at it as like, oh, maybe finally he's healthy. Maybe he finally is living up to his potential. He might get about 10. I don't see a 15, 16, you're right. But I can see maybe a 10, 11 or something like that. So I don't know. So
Sim
that's what I
says
gotta
he'll
say.
go to Dallas if we let him go.
He might.
Or Seattle.
Yeah,
Somewhere.
Pete Carroll be
Take their
licking his chops somewhere.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna go back to something we were talking about before. Like, we know that the Cardinals was going off this team has been hasn't been good. But I gotta give Joshua Dobbs his props. He's one of 4 quarterbacks that hasn't thrown an interception yet.
Mhm.
So I gotta give him his props on that one. So yeah.
Yeah. All right, we're going to draw the winner for this Debo. We're going to talk a little bit about Steve Wilkes, and then we'll get into the
Okay.
games.
Okay.
What's up, SG Sports Talk? I see you.
For real, is he? Kinlaw to AZ. Picked up Quantrez Knight. Can everybody hear me?
Put your bets in.
Oh, okay. I can hear you now. I thought you froze for a minute.
Yeah.
All right, let me go.
All right. Good luck, everybody. $71.
71. Okay. Let me get up here to these that first number. All right. Okay, I think from what I saw, it looks like Tanya's the closest, but let me do a double and triple check.
So those that weren't here to start the show, after this giveaway, we still have a Brandon Ayuk, Fred Warner, and we're closing the show with a Brock Purdy giveaway. So those are coming up. So stay around, get your numbers in.
Actually, let me see. We have
CFTL knows how to do math, all the fun stuff.
Yeah. Your slot machine goes too fast, somebody said. Give me a second. Dang, these numbers are scattered all over the place. Let me make sure I got everybody.
Yeah, the chat been going off, so we appreciate that.
So the number was 71.
Mm-hmm.
We got Tanya with 80, which is 9 away. Then we got JV with 62, which is 9 away. So because he didn't go over, it's JV.
Yep. That is the rules. So congrats, JV. Congrats. Debo is going home with JV. All these giveaways. I don't know if you could see them flapping in the wind here that I have to bag up and get ready to go out. All right, fam. Let's go with the Fred Warner. Iron Man Fred. Man, like I mentioned earlier, I was listening to the mic'd up from Fred Warner, and he had me freaking hyped. I was ready to go out and fucking play some football.
Rather put some
I
pads
can barely
on
walk, but like, let me go try. So get those numbers in. We're going with the All-Pro, Fred Warner. Good luck, everybody. We're going to draw it faster so the numbers aren't getting all missed. So make sure you're getting your numbers in there. All right, so Steve Wilkes. A lot of people, were questioning whether this defense obviously was going to take a drop off. Whether, I think, like D'Amico was just, I think he held like a special place in a lot of fans' hearts, like his story. We knew he was a player in the league, like he was just an awesome guy on the field, right? Like Fred Warner always talked great about him. Like everything we've seen from the guy, his family, took care of his family, like everything on and off the field. He was just an awesome guy, right? Then we know that he had this defense playing at the number 1 in the league. So chances are, some part of that defense is going to take a drop off. It's very hard for, anything like that to stay number 1, consecutive seasons when we know other teams are getting better too, And then there was questions about him coaching. We know that he's coaching up in the booth instead of down on the field. We didn't know, how that energy was going to be. Obviously, this is his first year with the team. We know that the other guys, had been promoted, from within, had been on the team, working with the team before. we didn't know. Well, we knew Steve Wilkes has to have all this communication with Fred Warner. How was that going to be? Because this is the first time that Fred wouldn't be communicating with D'Amico and not have D'Amico there. So all these questions, I'm sure you could go on and on and on about, all these things that were kind of question marks, right? But we knew what Steve Wilkes did with the Panthers before he left. They were stupid to fucking let him go because they're a complete fucking dumpster fire. But, thankfully they did let him go because, that was our gain. I was listening to a podcast earlier and it's just an NFL podcast. And they were talking about it and about Steve Wilkes, about when they heard that, the Panthers obviously, weren't going to sign him as their head coach. And when they heard that the 49ers signed him, he was like, my first thoughts were the 49ers are going back to the Super Bowl. So, for other teams to be scared that, normally teams would be like, oh, they're losing their defensive coordinator. They're going to have a first-time guy. We're not worried about them, But other teams are like, no, they're losing their defensive coordinator, but they're going to have Steve Wilkes, and we are worried about him.
Yeah.
Like, how do you think, obviously, we know 3 games down into the books, we've seen the defense come out and play lights out from first quarter to fourth quarter. We've seen the defense come out and be sluggish through the first 2 quarters. And obviously you could tell things were changed during halftime, and they came out and played stellar the third and fourth quarter. And then I feel like, this last game, they came out and the first quarter was but it seems like they were kind of seeing how things were going, and they made adjustments during the first quarter, second quarter, and the defense was right on board. Like, it didn't even take getting to halftime to make adjustments. So how do you think, through all that Steve Wilkes, like, how would you, if you had to give him a grade through 3 games, how do you think he's done? Do you think the defense has fallen off? Do you see, I feel like we're seeing a lot of, in the offseason, he had told us that, or not us, but, in his presser, that he wanted to eliminate the big plays. Like, when he watched tape back from the defense last season, he saw the defense keep getting burned for big plays, and he wanted to eliminate that. And I think that's what we're seeing, right? The defense is giving up a lot of this little yards in front of them, but they're keeping everything in front of them, and they're not giving up the big plays, but we're seeing teams, like, if they have a quarterback that can take advantage of it, like Matthew Stafford, are able to gash us for those little yards, keep going and going, and work their way down the field. But not every quarterback can take advantage of that, So, I mean, I guess, I would rather that than the big plays, obviously. So how do you think, how do you think he's done?
Yeah, I think he's done a pretty good job. If I had to give him a grade, to be a B plus. I think he's doing great. It's only been 3 games. I didn't expect. It's hard for any coach. I don't care what position group you take over or a unit. It's hard to get something. Yeah, you can do what you want to do in OTAs and training camp, but real life game situations with their top players is really what counts. And I feel like you hit the nail on the head. Like the Rams game, we were losing at halftime, but he made some excellent adjustments. Like, he changed some stuff. So yeah, I'd give him a B plus. I mean, even if he was struggling, I'm not saying he is. Even if he did struggle 3 games, I wouldn't be like down on him. Like, oh, we should have got rid of D'Amico. And I'm not one of those fans who loses patience real quick. You know what I mean? Like, you have to let things play out. So yeah, I think he's done a great job. And me, as somebody who's played defense, from playing football, the more you keep plays in front of you, the better chance you have of getting turnovers. When you start letting plays get past you, you're limited to what can be done. So at least with the short stuff, you can get the batted balls. You can get, the batted tip balls. It's easier for you to either for a corner or a safety or even a linebacker to jump a route. You know what I mean? To get the interception. So yeah, keeping plays in front of you is the best thing to do. One, it makes you eat up clock. And even if they do score, field goal, whatever the case may be, we talked about it earlier in the show. We have the offense that's so dynamic that, we're going to score probably in less than 4 or 5 minutes and just put the defense right back on the field anyway. So we're time, so, I'm okay with that. Like, I'm okay with letting stuff. And I feel like as these players get more comfortable in the system, the better we're going to get. I feel like by week 10, 11, we're going to be hitting on all cylinders, and we're going to be talking about Steve Wilkes was an amazing pickup, even though we already kind of see it. We're going to be like, oh, he was an amazing pickup. There's hardly any drop off from D'Amico Ryan's, or we could be talking about, hey, it looks better because now we're getting more turnovers, more sacks, whatever the case may be. And I think, D line, I feel like the defensive line, is the backbone of a defense. If they're not getting pressure, it makes everybody else's job harder. I don't care whether you're a linebacker, whether you're a safety, corner, but the fact that we got three linemen, in the top 10 as far in that category that you mentioned earlier, we're getting ton of pressure on these quarterbacks. So it's
Mhm.
making everything easier for our defense. So yeah, the fact that Kinlaw's playing well, Javon Hargrave is playing well, and Bosa, I feel like he's going to start getting in his groove because I said it. I go, he's going to get his first sack against the
Well,
Giants. I
he's
can feel it.
leading the list, so
Yeah. I'm like,
but that list was just defensive tackles. That's
yeah,
why I
he's
didn't
leading the
read
list.
him
Yeah,
off. But the
yeah,
overall defensive line, yeah, he's leading it,
yeah. Because
and
the
he's
fact
number
that
one in
yeah,
being double teamed
double
as well
team,
through
yeah.
3
And then,
weeks.
I saw a lot of fans, kind of panic after 2 weeks. Oh, what's wrong with Bosa? He signed a big contract. He's not getting any pressure. Man, the legs just getting his legs back under him.
Hmm.
Like, and now that he got his sack against the Giants, he's like, okay, like everybody, he's like, I'm back. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm not worried about him at all. But yeah, this defense, like I said, I feel like come 5, 6 weeks, we're not gonna have any issues. We're gonna be like, man, this defense hitting on all cylinders, just like our offense hitting on all cylinders, and we're going to be hard to stop going forward.
Yeah. Get your numbers in if you haven't for Fred Warner. Yeah, and real quick too, Bosa with his sack that he got against the Giants, that put him at 44 sacks, which now he's tied with Alden Smith in 49ers franchise history with 44 sacks. And I wouldn't be surprised that we don't see Bosa at the top of this list by the time he retires. Right now, Bryant Young sits at number one with 89.5 sacks.
Mm.
So Bosa is halfway there, if you think about it. That would put him at 88. He has 44. So, and one of those years he was hurt. He only
Yeah,
played, one game or whatever?
but that was in 2020,
Yeah.
right, when he got hurt
Mhm.
against the Jets or Giants, whatever team it was. Yeah,
So in
yeah.
3 seasons, 3 full seasons, and the 1 sack this season that he's gotten, he's already, tied for 6 on that list. Charles Haley is number 2 with 66.5.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a big jump from Charles Haley, 66.5, to Bryant Young at 89.5.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely Bosa's for sure gonna be at
Mm-hmm.
number 2.
Oh, for sure.
Ahmed Brooks is at number 3 with 51.5.
Okay.
Dana Stubblefield is at 4 with 46.5. And then Dwayne Board is at 5 with 45.
Oh, okay. See, what makes Brian Young's stat even more impressive. He was a D tackle.
Mm-hmm.
That's impressive. I'm sorry. 89 as a D tackle is amazing. So,
Yeah.
yeah, he's going to surpass that, in the next few years, I see. If he just keeps averaging like 15 to 20 every year, he's going to get that pretty quickly.
Yep.
He's not to me, I don't think he's hit his prime yet.
No, I don't think so either.
What is he, 25, 24? All I know is me and him got the same birthday, October 23rd. Shout out. Me and him got the same birthday, but I don't know how old he is, but I don't think he's hit his prime yet. Huh?
He's 25.
25, but yeah, I feel like athletes hit their prime about 26, 27 years old. So he hadn't even hit his prime yet. So that's amazing. That's what's even scarier.
Yeah.
And he hasn't even gotten going yet. Like I said, if Javon Kinlaw and Hargrave keep playing the way they're playing, commanding them double teams, they're going to finally start. And I feel like whoever the other edge is, when they start getting more sacks and getting stuff done, now you're going to have to worry about, man, who are we going to double team? And so the fact that he's getting double team right now, but I feel like stuff is going to change once the defensive line starts getting more pressure from other areas. But regardless, him getting his double teams, he's still going to get 12 to 15 sacks regardless. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
What's up, David McNiner? If you want to get your number in real quick, we're about to draw the winner for this Fred Warner giveaway.
Let me go to
Pulling
the
it
top
up right
and get that
now.
first person.
So
All
last
right.
call.
All right. Sim was actually first. Maybe he'll win this time.
All right. Good luck. Seven.
Okay. Take a look. Oh,
What's up, Ryan?
look at this.
Ooh, Alberto. He said he was feeling lucky.
He
There
did.
he is, Mr. Lucky himself. Congrats, Alberto. So going also in your bag, somebody we were just talking about.
The way you put it up.
Bosa drip sticker for getting it exactly right. Congrats, Alberto. Shout out to my guy, Inspector Dabbit, with the drip stickers. All right, so that means next up is Brandon Ayuk. Hype. Missed my guy BA this week, but I'm glad
Yeah.
that they rested him.
Yeah, they definitely did the right thing.
Yeah. Oh shit. I wrote Fred's name on the bag instead
Oh,
of
did you?
Alberto's. I was gonna give it away to Fred. And I'm like looking at Fred's face through the bag and I'm like writing his name. Congrats, Alberto. All right, so get your numbers in 1 through 100, Brandon Ayuk. And then we're going to close the show with Brock Purdy. All right, so let's talk about this game. 49ers beat the Giants, beat their ass 12-30. Yeah. This game, the first quarter was kind of like, oh, okay, what's going on here, you know, but it seems like once they got into a little bit of a groove, the offense got rolling, defense was rolling. We saw Brock Purdy kind of have, you know, a rough first quarter, but you know, didn't turn the ball over, thankfully. And he was able to play through the game, play through that, and ended up making some beautiful throws. That back shoulder to Kittle, I mean to Debo.
Debo in the end zone. Yeah, that was a nice throw.
Even that throw to CMC, the one that he dropped, that throw was a freaking dart too. The throw to Kittle, like he had some beautiful, like big time quarterback throws. And you know, through, like I said, through that little rough, you know, till he got found. I mean, he was blitzed so much in that game. I think there was
85% of the time.
Yeah. There was only like 5 dropbacks that he had that he wasn't blitzed on or something, like crazy. Like we hadn't seen that much like blitz for like back in, I don't forget, the year was like way back in the day. So like, you know, I think that's, you know, I talked about it yesterday, like, and I hate to keep bringing him up, but that's what we have to compare to, and that's Jimmy. Had we seen Jimmy in that situation, he would have
2
thrown a pick.
picks.
He would have been back there, happy feet, dancing around. Like, with as much as Brock, you know, was blitzed, never did he look like out of sorts. Yeah, he was missing throws, whatever. But, you know, you're having guys coming running down his freaking throat, literally the entire freaking game, you know. So, and yet he's not back there dancing around. He didn't look flustered. He didn't look nothing. Still cool as a cucumber, Brock Purdy back there, you know. And yeah, I mean, what more can we ask? Like 3 games, 30 points each game, you know, 3-0. There's only 3 teams that are 3-0 right now. The 49ers, the Eagles, and the Dolphins. Shout out to the Dolphins for dropping freaking 70 points last week. Like, holy shit.
That's a straight track team over there.
Like, somebody in the Broncos should be fired. The defensive coordinator, something, because
you know what's so crazy, Miriah? The Broncos could have tripled their final score and still would have lost by 10.
Yeah. 70 freaking points. I was like, holy shit, like they're playing basketball or what? There's a point that Mike McDaniels was up in the stands with the
fans. I saw that.
There.
That's disrespect. That's disrespectful, but I love to see it.
You need to score on your fantasy team. Okay, we'll call, you know, like the backups come in and they score touchdowns. It's like, holy shit, like but yeah. What your overall thoughts with the Giants? And then we'll do our stars and move on quickly from this. Again, get your numbers in for the Brandon Ayuk giveaway.
Yeah, I think you pretty much hit every point of that game. I mean, you know, we started off slow. It's one of those games where I was like, you know, and you know, it's funny. Some people kept telling me like, I don't know, man. I hope they come out and win. Like, you know, didn't have a game. I'm glad we didn't have a situation like the Cowboys and went in there overconfident. Oh, this is our home opener. We're gonna do damage and all this other stuff. Like we went in there, started off slow. I'm like, okay, we need to get this together. And then finally, you know, second half started coming on and we started clicking. So yeah, the fact that we started so slow and Brock didn't look good early and the offense just in general didn't look good early, and the fact we still scored 30 is impressive. So, yeah, it's not really much that we can see, you know, going on this game. It's been, you know, it's been over almost a week now, and so yeah, it's on to the next game. And Izzy, before we move on to answer your question, I see Moody scoring more than Ronnie Bell because he's going to have more opportunity to score points.
Yep. What's up, Perk? Glad you stopped through. Says, yeah, rep that shit. If you know Perk, he's always sharing everybody's stuff on Twitter, saying rep that shit. So we appreciate you stopping in, Perk Thugs and Harmony.
A cool cat right there. Remember when we met him at the draft party at Mandalay Bay? That's a cool dude, man.
Yep. Yeah, there's not too many people like, you know, of our listeners, of our, you know, of the chat that like I've met in person, but Perk is one of them.
Yep.
So stars of the game balls, flowers, whatever the hell you want to call it these days. The first one I'm going with is somebody we had just spoke about, that you just spoke about, is Ronnie Bell. Got his first NFL touchdown. We know, like, he had to fill in. Obviously, he, you know, got playing time because Ayuk was out. And not even just on that, the touchdown, which, you know, was a great throw, great catch by him. But he was in there blocking his ass off on plays too, you know. So shout out to him. Obviously, we know that Ayuk and Debo talk about it all the time, and we saw Ayuk in the doghouse, whatnot. But you know, they talk about it, that you have to block. You know, you have to block as a wide receiver in this offense, and if you don't, Kyle's not going to give you the ball. It's that simple, you know. And we've watched it happen time and time again. You know, we talked about TDP being inactive. Well, we watched TDP in the preseason miss a shit ton of blocks. And what happened? Well, he hasn't been active yet, you know. So Ronnie Bell's in there. He to get him in the round that we did.
Oh my gosh.
He fits so seamlessly into this offense. Like, he's just been a part of it, you know, like we couldn't have got a better person, I think, than to fit in that spot. Like, he complements, you know, like once he overtakes, you know, if next season Juwan Jennings, you know, moves on or whatnot, and I could see him definitely being the number 3 guy.
Easy.
And fitting in so well, you know, with Debo. Hopefully we sign Ayuk, you know, but as the number 3, complimenting them. And like, I just love the kid. Like, he's a dog out there, you know. And I always say that he seems like what Kyle thought he was getting in Dante Pettis, and one was a cat and one's a fucking dog. And
Period.
we're seeing that out there. So my first star of the game is Ronnie Bell with his first touchdown.
Okay. I don't know what it is. Every time I hear Dante Pettis' name, I have to laugh. I saw this video of him and his boys in Hawaii, and I'm just like, I know he wasn't that dude. He's just too soft. I'm sorry. Ronnie Bell's funny about it. Me being a Wolverines fan, I literally had a 4th-round grade on him. Like I'm just like, man, once I was watching the draft, I'm like, man, when are they gonna take my boy? Like, I was like, yeah, it's like, and then when we had his name, I was like, man, like he instantly became my favorite draft pick. Like I was in love with the D Winters pick.
Mm-hmm.
And then like when we got him, I'm like, yes, like that's my guy. Like I'm glad he's, it's like I love it. Like, he goes from my college football team to my pro team. So you couldn't ask for anything better than that. You know what he reminds me of? And I'm not saying I hope he ends up being as good, but he kind of reminds me of our arch enemy, one of the team's guys on arch enemy in Tyler Lockett.
Mm.
Kind of undersized a little bit, but runs all the routes. He's physical, you know what I mean, can block. Like if he turns out to be a Tyler Lockett, I'm happy. That's exactly
Yeah.
he reminds me of him, like just the way he plays. So yeah, if we get anything close to that in the 7th round, man, we're it. But
Yep.
yeah, my game ball, just because he had been struggling the first couple weeks, and this is probably gonna surprise some people because I usually don't give it to linemen. I'm gonna give it to Spencer Burford. For them to be blitzing that, because teams know that the right side is our weakness,
Mm-hmm.
and they were blitzing like we mentioned 85% of the time. He played a heck of a game, Spencer Burford. I was looking at that side like, man, he's holding his own. Hopefully now he's going to start to get comfortable. Colton McKivitz still had his issues, but Spencer Burford was playing out of his mind. Like he had a great game. So I'm gonna give that to Spencer Burford.
It says on this list I have about pressures allowed.
Mhm.
It says Burford allowed 4, Brindle allowed 3, Aaron Banks allowed 3, and Williams and McKivitz both allowed 0.
Mm.
So shout out to McKivitz for stepping up too. Everybody thought he was going to be the weakest link of that offensive line. In the first game, he wasn't looking too great, but since he's had to face Aaron Donald, we know, right? Kyle schemes it up and does so much to help him, but he still has to be there holding his own.
Yeah.
And he did it. And this week, they're not chumps across the Giants defensive line either. And
No, they're not.
to have no pressures, shout out to him. So my second star is gonna be Money Moody. Again, nailed every extra point, every field goal. I think he's gotten my star every single week so far, 3 weeks in a row, just because of we know the offseason that he had, the rough preseason, getting injured, the fan base freaking crazy because not only did we draft him so early, but now he's missing kicks, he's hurt, right? Like all this shit like stacking up against him. And he's been money all 3 weeks. So shout out to Money Moody.
Yeah. She just, another guy. Just I love to see it. There wasn't a lot of people happy with that pick, but I was one of them who was loved it, loved the pick and Jake Moody. Who I'm gonna say, and I think it's not a surprise. We haven't named him yet, but it's kind of like he definitely deserved because of the game he had. I'm giving it to Debo.
Mm-hmm.
Debo did his thing. Hopefully he's healthy and he can play on Sunday. But we mentioned it for you guys who just getting in. We mentioned it early in the show. Debo is playing like the 2021 Debo, and if we get that Debo along with the healthy McCaffrey, unstoppable, best 2 offensive weapons in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Period, hands down.
Yep. And yeah, JV, you won, and you won Debo. All right, let's draw this winner for the Brandon Ayuk. And again, we'll close out with the Brock Purdy, talk about the cards for a few, and then we'll get out of here. You guys can carry on with your Wednesday evening. I'll be back tomorrow at 3 Pacific time with Steph Sanchez for the 2 GOAT show. So Make sure you guys come back. Last call to get your numbers in. It's for this Brandon Ayuk hype. Let me pull up, take y'all to Vegas real quick.
Man, the strip right now is not fun at all. Traffic is terrible, construction, like preparing for that F1 to get here.
Yeah, it is.
It's an absolute mess.
And a guy, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
No?
Guy
Yes.
drowned.
A guy died this last week doing the construction for it.
Yeah, at the Bellagio, huh? He drowned in the fountains, huh? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sucks because he passed away, because usually the
All right, good
idiots
luck,
that pass
fam.
away are the ones who jump in there. Alrighty. Number 10, huh? Okay.
10.
Let me see. I think I already see the winner, but let me make sure.
10 for Ronnie Bell.
Just talking about our guy.
Finally, hopefully we have somebody in the 10 jersey that's not going to be crazy.
Are you kidding me?
Somebody will actually be good wearing the 10 jersey.
So we have Michael Ing that had 11, which is one off. John V with 9, and it's one off, but JV wins because he didn't go over.
And that's how you won the first one too, JV. So congrats. I'll add it with your Debo. JV taking home Ayuk and Debo in one sweep. All right, so go ahead and start getting in your numbers. Go with the Brock Purdy to close the show. Our QB1, the man himself. Get your numbers in 1 through 100. Good luck. I did want to say, hats off to Fred for tipping a ball up in the air and Huff coming down with the interception. This is the second one that Huff has this season. Coming from the safeties that we had in, as much as I love Jimmy Ward, but Jimmy Ward and Tart for so many years, and we would literally be at the bottom of the interception list
for
year
turnovers,
after year after year, like, oh my God, like I hated it. Like watching all these teams get interceptions, and our defense goes out there and can't freaking get the ball to save their lives, and now we have 2 safeties that just find the ball, like I swear Huff must work on that tip drill, because no matter where that ball gets tipped at, he'll freaking be across the field and somehow he's going to be the one that comes down with it. He just freaking flies to it and, comes down with the ball. So hats off to him for getting that interception and pretty much sealing the deal. Any chance that the Giants had or even thought they were going to have to even come back, Huff took that away from him.
Before, remind me, I know Fred Warner tipped it, but didn't somebody tip it before him? Because I felt like it got hit up in the air twice. I mean, I could be mistaken.
I thought Fred tipped it first, and then somebody else hit it. Yeah.
Was that what it was? I feel like, because I remember when they kept showing, like, man, that ball was up in the air for a while. And I think with Hufanga, I think what it is too, like, this is one thing I'll take over speed in the NFL every day. And I understand speed kills. You love to have it. I'm taking IQ and awareness over speed any day. Because that stuff with Hufanga, regardless of the situation, he is always around the football. That just shows that he knows where that play is going. He has good awareness. He knows how to sift through trash. And people who play football know what I'm talking about when I say sift through trash. He knows how to sift through that stuff, and he finds his way to get to that ball. So the fact that he's so great at that, his awareness is amazing. I love the way he plays football. So yeah, but you're right though. Ward, I loved him. Like, remember I had talked about I hope he retired a Niner because I liked him. The fact that, the way he started and the way he finished, like,
Hmm.
he was everybody wanted him off his first contract, his first rookie contract. People wanted him off this team. And then we kept always asking ourselves, why do we keep bringing him back? Why do we keep
Hmm.
signing him back? And Salah was like, well, you want the best players on defense. That's why we kept bringing him back. And then his last few years, he showed he can be healthy until his final year. He got hurt again. But yeah, we had like Jimmy Ward was known as a tackling machine. He had great technique with his tackling. But man, his awareness for turnovers were terrible, him and Tart.
Yeah.
So you're right. Now that we have a Gibson, and hopefully Jair Brown turns into be that same type of guy. I love our safeties now. I love that we create turnovers. Like I mentioned before, with Steve Wilkes saying that he likes to keep the plays in front of us. That tip drill shows exactly what I'm talking about. The
Hmm.
more you keep plays in front of you, the better chance you've having of getting a turnover.
Yep.
And that's what's happening with this defense. So
Yep. Denise, you need to pick again because Ronnie already picked 55.
exactly, Perk.
That he understands
Exactly.
what offense is doing, and that's what I call thugging.
Yep.
Thugging. All right, let's get over to those nasty old dirty Cardinals. The Cardinals and the Rams are both bottom in the division, 1-2. Seahawks 2-1, 49ers obviously 3-0, leading the division. Beautiful up there. But we have to go see those scrubs at the bottom. So, well, actually, they're coming to see us. I brought it up earlier. Pretty much, James Conner. Like, we need our defense to be on their game to be able to stop the run because you stop the run, and the Cardinals' offense is going to be shit. They
Yeah.
have a couple, no name wide receivers, but they're playing like no name wide receivers. So yeah, as long as I think that we're able to stop the run, I don't see a lot of people are like, oh, well, the 49ers can't sleep on the Cardinals because they just beat the Cowboys. And that's why I think more than ever the 49ers are showing up ready for this game.
Hmm.
Obviously we know it's a division game, so it's always going to be different than the other games, but them just watching the Cardinals beat the Cowboys like that, who supposedly had the number one defense and all this, I am pretty sure the 49ers are going to show up ready to this game because they're
Hmm.
not going to let that shit happen to them. So
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on this Cards game?
Yeah. Like I mentioned before, like, I'm not sitting here trying to give Cardinals any kudos or nothing like that, but Joshua Dobbs, for being a journeyman, has been playing pretty well. Like, he's not turning the ball over. I mentioned he's one of the four quarterbacks in the NFL that doesn't have an interception yet. And, I think, they have the James Conner's their best offensive weapon. And you mentioned it. We stop him. I think what this team has done. They have the name at tight end at Zach Ertz, but right now he's just a name. The skill set isn't what it used to be. Like, he's lost a step or two. I think the only person who I would also worry about is Rondell Moore, just because he has that speed to get behind our
Mhm.
defense, and Joshua Dobbs has a pretty decent arm to get it to him. And if he gets out, and that man can scoop. He's fast. So yeah, just I think as long as we get pressure on Dobbs, I think he throws his first interception this week. I think he throws multiple, if I'm being honest. I think we get two interceptions off of him. Um, but you're right. It's one of those things where it's like it's a division game, and I hate when I see people on Twitter saying, "Oh, you guys are tripping. Don't think we're gonna lose to the Cards." You don't know that. Like, we sat there, we lost against the Bears, we lost against Denver. Nobody thought Atlanta was going to beat us last year with
Mhm.
Mariota. So you
The
don't
Cards beat
know.
us a couple years ago with the
Yeah,
freaking
with Colt
backup.
McCoy.
So
Yeah, with
yeah,
Colt McCoy.
let's
So
not
don't
act like it can't be done.
Yeah, exactly. Like, don't act like it can't happen. However, you're right. I think the Cowboys beating them, I mean Cowboys losing to them will open up our eyes. Because I don't think there's not I mean, probably just a handful of people probably thought that the Cardinals were going to upset the Cowboys this week. So in saying that, I think we win. And if you want to give me a score prediction. And
Mm-hmm.
just before I make the score prediction, my girl, her dad at his job at the casino he works at, we're doing it's a $20 buy-in, and every week you get to pick a team, but only one team to win that week, and you can't pick the same team twice. So I, I'm in on it. The pot is $700 right now. $700 after everybody paid week one, and I'm still in it. I haven't picked the Niners yet. I went with the Commanders week one, Bills week two, and I went with the Chiefs in week three. I'm going with the Niners this week. Don't let me down, my guys. Don't let me down. I want that $700.
Mm-hmm.
There's only 8 dudes left in the pot, so I still have a chance. So, um, my girl's dad picked Jacksonville last week and he lost. So he's out of it, which is, it sucks for him. But yeah, so hopefully, I'm picking the Niners. And I think because, it was great that we played early, and I'm hopefully, and I know Kyle said I'm watching football all weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure he watched that game. He's licking his chops and saying, like, okay, now I see the mistakes that Dallas made, and I'm going to go in and do this thing. So we haven't scored in less than 30 yet, and I don't think it stops this week. So I'm going with the 49ers 33, Cardinals 16.
All right. My guys last night, Bashar is going 35-13 49ers. Ryan, he's going 35-17 49ers.
Okay.
And I'm going 31-13 49ers.
Oh, okay.
So
Same page as Izzy.
Yeah. We're all pretty close there
Yeah.
in score predictions. We'll see what Steph has tomorrow. But yeah, I just don't. I know, like, oh yeah, we just said it's happened before. They beat us before, yada yada yada. But I think that this 49ers team's different than the 49ers teams before, obviously. And I just don't see them coming out and being lackluster, not having the energy, not sleeping on them. They've had a little mini bye break. Playing on a Thursday. They've got a couple days to rest, recoup. And I'm expecting them to come out there and, like Perk said, they need to make sure Connor feels like he's running into a brick wall every time they tackle him. And I think as long as they do that, they keep pressure on Dobbs. I'm not expecting that offense to be able to put up too many points on our defense.
Yeah.
So yeah, make sure you got your numbers in for this Brock Purdy giveaway, because we're about to call the winner and get out of here, fam. We appreciate you all so much for hanging out with us, spending your Wednesday with us. An hour and a half of your time.
Dang.
Let's see.
Alberto got us destroying them 42-10.
Melissa 31-13. We got Dawn 38-10. This will be nice. 42-10.
Yeah, that's an absolute blowout. I don't know what I did, Izzy. What are you talking about? I'm lost.
All right. I need to take this down.
I know some people don't like to give score predictions. They think it's bad luck. I agree with Sin on this one.
All right.
After what happened to the Cowboys.
We're drawing.
Yeah, I agree, Sin. Let me go back to the first number. Oops.
All right. Good luck. $18.
Wishnowski. Let me see.
31-17. John V says, I'm terrified of score predictions.
Yeah, some people ain't feeling that.
Mm-hmm. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
for the longest
Superstition
time,
some people
you know,
have.
like living in Vegas, obviously not until recently, you know, sports books have been available to everybody.
Yeah.
But back in the day, you know, it was just us. So, you know, I'd be putting in my bets for football and I would never bet the 49ers. Like it was just a
Really?
thing I had because I felt like every time I bet on them, they'd be the ones that would lose and kill my ticket. And I'm like, you know, I'd rather the 49ers win, you know, so I'm not betting them.
Yeah.
So just recently, like I finally started, you know, like even taking 49ers in fantasy, I wouldn't do it. But now,
Mm,
like I'm over all that. So
yeah.
I'm
We got
like,
a
fuck
winner.
that. I ain't taking
Mike
the
Ing.
fault of them being
Really?
sucky.
I used to always take the Niners in fantasy, but yeah, it was a issue with me doing that as well. Like I don't know if I should bet on them or
Yeah.
whatever. I remember that was one time I did bet on, and what made me think twice about that is one time I had them in a 5-team parlay, and everybody hit and covered the spread except for them, and I was so pissed. I'm like, really? Like y'all couldn't help me win no money? So, yeah, Michael Ing is the winner.
Congrats, Mike. Shout out to you. Shout out to all the winners. Shout out to chat. You guys are awesome. Those of you that are watching on replay or that are hanging out and didn't talk and chat, we know not everybody likes talk and chat, and that's perfectly fine. We appreciate you as well. And yeah, you have any closing thoughts, TL, before we get out of here?
No, just fully expect us to come out of here 4-0. Um, I think it's gonna be us. I think, and it's what's so funny? It's crazy to me. Like the Dolphins and Bills. If you guys paid attention, feels like a trap for people to pick the Dolphins to win this game on Sunday. The Bills, even after Dolphins scored 70 and the Bills played okay, Bills are favored -2.5. So I think if you guys are gonna bet, I think I would take the Bills to cover that spread and take a chance. Because I think everybody and their mama is going to take the Dolphins after what they did to
Mm-hmm.
Denver and thinking, oh, they're going to come out here and smash. But the fact that Buffalo's -2.5 makes me think that the Bills might have a chance of winning this game. So I'm going to say that's my closing thoughts. Don't be mad at me if it doesn't hit, but if it does hit, just think about that scenario because it doesn't make sense to me while they're -2.5 after that $70 beat down that them fools got. So yeah, those are my
Mm-hmm.
final thoughts. But yeah, I think after Sunday or Monday, well, I don't know how the game's going for the Eagles. I think us and the Eagles are gonna be the only undefeated teams after this weekend.
I wish the Eagles would fucking lose.
Yeah, same.
Like the Dolphins, I could care less if they stay
Yeah, same.
undefeated, but the Eagles, I want them to freaking lose more than anything.
Yeah. It was funny. I think I said this before, but like I had to explain to my lady's son because he's just like, why are you going for certain teams or whatever the case may be? And I was like, look, you're a Cowboys fan. You as a Cowboys fan should root for every AFC team that plays an NFC team. Just because when the seedings come out at the end of the year, you want the NFC team that's not yours to have a worse record for playoff seeding. He goes, "Oh, I never thought
Mm-hmm.
about that." So when the Chargers beat the Vikings, I'm cool with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I want. So we have to see that kind of stuff. So yeah, I agree. I want the Eagles like that game. The Dolphins Bills, we can care less. It doesn't affect us at all. But yeah, the Eagles, we need them to lose. Seahawks, whoever's on our tail, we need them to lose. So yeah,
Mm-hmm. Sin, I would wait till it gets closer. Let's see if Debo, because he didn't practice today.
yeah,
Let's see if he finishes out the week practicing or not. I'll let you know in our chat once it gets closer. Remind me. Because if he's full go, then yeah, you probably want to start him. But if he's limited all week and toss up, maybe we can find somebody else better for you to start. Because even if at that point, even if he does play, he might be limited use. Especially Ayuk's back at practice, so he'll probably be playing this week as well.
yeah,
But yeah, I'll let you know once it gets closer.
yeah.
But yeah, chat. We appreciate you all. Much love. And I'll be back, as I said, tomorrow at 3 Pacific time, 6 Eastern, with the GOAT herself, Steph Sanchez. So make sure you guys join us. I'll see you guys then. TL, I appreciate you. Much love, brother.
Sure.
Glad you're
Thank you.
back. And yeah, chat, we'll be back next week, the two of us. And until we see you guys again, everybody stay safe. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Today is hump day for most people. So go out there and hump, be happy, and yeah, have a
Go out there
great,
and hump.
yeah, but be
Yeah, well,
safe. Be safe
yeah.
humping.
I don't hump because I'm a little aggressive, but I will smash tonight.
Well, it's not called Smash Wednesday, okay?
I know.
All right, fam, we're out of
Hilarious.
here. Hump,
All right,
y'all.
bye.